My videos don't necessarily promote one religion. My views and opinions aren't meant to change the minds, opinions, or beliefs of others. Watch with an open mind. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, entertainment, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All rights and credit go directly to its rightful owners. No copyright infringement is intended. We continue to uncover the profound wisdom within the timeless scriptures. Take care, and God bless.
Are you ready to arm yourself with knowledge?
Yeah.
Welcome back, friends. Today we're diving deep into a topic that could save you in a sticky situation. We're talking self-defense laws. Yep, you heard me right. Knowing your rights and staying on the right side of the law could be the difference between a harmless stand-your-ground situation and a costly legal battle. And guess what? This knowledge is power, so stick around. By the end of this video, you'll be equipped to handle yourself better and feel confident in your self-defense skills. So let's get started. Why is it so important to understand self-defense laws? Well, put simply, because we all have the right to protect ourselves. But there are boundaries, and when you cross those boundaries, you could be in trouble. That's where the law comes in. These rules help us all understand where we can and cannot go when defending ourselves. But don't worry, this isn't going to be a dry legal lecture. We'll break it down in a way that's easy to understand. And trust me, you won't want to miss this. Let's start with the basics. What does the law say about self-defense? In simple terms, self-defense laws allow you to use force to protect yourself from harm. But hold on a second. There's always a catch, right? Well, yes. The force you use must be reasonable and proportionate to the threat you face. For example, imagine you're in a fight and your attacker throws a punch. Responding with a punch of your own is reasonable. However, taking things too far, like kicking them in the groin when they're down, could be considered excessive force and land you in trouble. But wait, it gets a bit more complicated. The law also considers the idea of imminent danger. Basically, it's about how soon you think you'll be harmed. If someone threatens to hit you tomorrow, it's probably not imminent enough. But if they're lunging at you with a raised fist, that's pretty darn imminent. Getting a grasp on these concepts is key to staying on the right side of the law. And remember, this is just the tip of the iceberg. As we move on, the waters get a little murkier. Now let's talk about two phrases you've probably heard thrown around in the world of self-defense: castle doctrine and stand your ground. The castle doctrine, also known as the duty to retreat, applies when you're in your own space, usually your home or property. Generally, the law says that you don't have to retreat or try to escape. You can stand your ground and use force to protect yourself. However, some states do have the duty to retreat rule, meaning you must try to escape or back away from danger if possible before using force. This mainly applies outside your home. Each state has its own rules, so knowing where you live is important. Now let's look at stand your ground laws. These laws permit you to stand your ground and use force, including deadly force, without first trying to escape. Currently, 25 states plus the District of Columbia recognize stand your ground. But remember, these laws don't give you a free pass to use force any old way you want. You still need to act reasonably and in proportion to the threat you face. It is also worth noting that many jurisdictions have adopted a standard known as the objective reasonable person. This means your perspective and feelings aren't always the deciding factor. Instead, a reasonable person's perspective is considered. For example, if a police officer tells you to drop your weapon and you interpret that as a threat, but a reasonable person wouldn't, you might not be able to claim self-defense. Let's take a closer look at what constitutes a reasonable person. The reasonable person is a hypothetical individual who is careful, prudent, and acts with common sense in a particular situation. Imagine you're at a party and someone spills a drink on you. Are you okay to assume they meant to do it and retaliate? Probably not. A reasonable person wouldn't jump to such a conclusion. Instead, they would likely consider other possibilities and respond calmly. So what does this mean for your legal rights? Acting like a reasonable person is important. If you ever find yourself in a self-defense situation, ask yourself, would a reasonable person in my situation feel threatened in the same way I do? Would they respond in kind? Keeping this in mind can help keep you out of trouble. You might be thinking, what happens if I'm attacked first? Does the rule still apply? Well, yes, you can generally claim self-defense if you were attacked first, but you must show that your response was reasonable under the circumstances. For example, if someone attacks you with a knife and you respond with a similar level of force, you're likely covered. But using excessive force could get you into trouble. It's also important to consider the concept of proportionality in self-defense. Bringing a knife to a fistfight, for instance, might not be seen as a proportional response, even if you were attacked first. The law tries to strike a balance between allowing you to defend yourself and ensuring that you don't overreact and cause more harm than necessary. Now let's talk about the aftermath of a self-defense incident. What should you do after the dust settles? First things first, contact the authorities and seek medical help if needed. Then, and here's a big one, stay quiet. Don't discuss the incident with anyone other than the police and your lawyer. Anything you say can potentially be used against you later. Next, reach out to a lawyer who specializes in self-defense cases. They can guide you through the legal process, explain your rights, and help you navigate any charges or lawsuits that may come your way. It's also wise to document everything, including taking photos of the scene and getting contact information from witnesses. This evidence could be crucial. You need to support your self-defense claim later on. Finally, preserve any relevant items like clothing or weapons until the authorities ask to see them. Following these steps can help ensure your safety and protect your legal interests in the wake of a self-defense incident. Remember, staying calm, seeking help, and acting responsibly are key. Now let's dive into a real-life scenario to see how these principles play out. Imagine you're at home and someone breaks in. You feel threatened and unsure what to do. Should you stand your ground and confront the intruder or try to escape? Well, according to the castle doctrine, you can generally stand your ground and use force to protect yourself on your property. However, it's important to assess the situation. If you can safely escape, doing so might be the best option. If you choose to confront the intruder, make sure your actions are reasonable and necessary. For example, using excessive force or targeting the intruder's vital points could lead to trouble. The goal is to stop the threat and ensure your safety. Once the immediate danger has passed, contact the police and seek medical attention if needed. Documenting the incident and consulting a lawyer can also help protect your legal interests moving forward. In essence, the law gives you the right to protect yourself, but it doesn't do it for you. You must be cautious, reasonable, and responsible in your actions. Before we part ways, let's recap the key takeaways. Knowing your self-defense laws is crucial for your safety and well-being. Understand the concepts of reasonableness, proportionality, and imminent danger. Familiarize yourself with your state's laws regarding stand your ground and the castle doctrine. Stay silent after an incident and seek legal counsel promptly. By arming yourself with knowledge, you can better protect yourself while upholding your legal rights. Remember, knowledge is power and your safety is worth it. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you found this information helpful and empowering. As we wrap up our discussion on self-defense laws, we encourage you to continue learning and practicing self-defense. Take courses, stay vigilant, and always aim to de-escalate situations when possible. Your safety and the safety of others depend on it. And remember, you have the right to protect yourself. Make sure you understand and respect the laws that govern self-defense in your area. Thanks for watching and stay safe.
Thank you all for watching this here video.